Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to a very special Wednesday edition of the Monday Show 53. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots. Roots, we're here. It's Wednesday. We're a couple days late. But you know what? I'm kind of glad that we're a couple days late because now we're a couple days into September. And man, what a couple of days it has been.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we finally got a chance to check out these games and talk about them as well. Yeah, it's weird because it doesn't feel like Wednesday for some reason to me. It feels like Monday, but I know I'd rather be Wednesday because it's closer to the weekend. So
Yeah, Saturday, ever so close now, just a couple more days off. But what I'm referring to is what we've had happen in the news the last couple of days. And I wanted to just kind of start off the show by admitting, admitting it, Roots, that I was wrong. For those of you who watched the Monday show last week, I got a little red, went on a little bit of a rant, which doesn't happen very often on this channel. And I'm glad to say here a week later, 10 days, what have you, I'm glad to say that I was wrong about some things. I was right about some things and I was wrong about others. But I'm so glad, Roots, that I was wrong about the things we talked about.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm glad you were wrong too, even though it doesn't end well for my pocket. You reminded me of that today, and but it's going to be good for everybody, man. It's going to be amazing for VR, right?
Yeah, and it's not looking so bad for your pocketbook as it was. I mean, I guess it is in a way, and I guess we should just stop beating around the bush and just talk about these graphics cards. Um, Last week, I got a little upset and went on a rant because of the rumors and supposed leaks that were coming out. And I was right about some of it, wrong about others. But the stuff I was wrong about, I'm happy to be wrong about again, because Roots, not only are these graphics cards offering up a lot more performance than we were expecting, possibly the biggest jump in performance we've ever seen between generations. But the prices came in at $100 less for the 3070 and the 3080. So excitement all around.
Wow, well, that's good, man. Maybe they heard your rant last week and they ran into marketing and said we got to change it. People are pissed. Wes is freaking out. People loved your rant, Wes. It was good. I liked it. But no, I'm really glad now. You reminded me what I was saying earlier was that you reminded me that probably get like 250, 300 for my card maybe. But the good news is I'll just give it to my son instead. You know, I mean, if I'm not going to get much money, there's no reason to just try to scrap it just to get as much as you can. I mean, my idea is to get what you know, if you can get a good amount of money and subsidize, great. If not, then you might as well just hold on to it, right? So
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a good thing to sell it like a month ago, even 2 weeks ago. You probably could have made a pretty good dime on it, but it would be tough these days. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't try. You should absolutely put it up for sale tomorrow. But anybody who's in the know, nobody in their right mind is going to give you what you want for it.
when are they dropping the new ones? Because I gotta have a video card
Uh,
for some to play.
3080 is scheduled to drop in about 2 weeks. 3070, I think, is going to drop early next month. And then 3090's question marks. I think they're going to do a soft launch at the end of the month, but
Mm.
quantities are expected to be limited.
Ooh.
But, that's not a big deal anyway, because the one thing I was right about was this 3090. Actually, I was wrong in the fact that it's actually more expensive than I thought it was going to be. I thought that it was going to launch at $1,400, but instead it's launching at a whopping $1,500.
Oh
Roots.
wow. So Radio Runt's still gonna get it, right? I mean, he said he was gonna get it. $1,500, man. I don't know.
Mm,
That's a lot of cash. That's twice the 3080 almost, right? He's got $100 less. So what's the 3080 running for? About 700?
700. So
Oh
it's more
my.
than twice what the 3080 costs.
Wow. Yeah, I
I
paid. I
know.
mean, that's crazy, dude. I mean, that's good. That's good for VR. Like I was saying, that my first thought was that's really good for virtual reality because that's one of the biggest price points for people to get into VR. That means that we're getting to the point now where there's not going to be shit cards anymore. Like the shit card is going to start being like the 1080 or something, like not now, but soon. You're just not going to see all the lower end ones anymore. And that's really good, for people getting into virtual reality for sure.
Yeah, it's exciting for what it means for PCVR. The fact that minimum spec machine is about to decrease in price dramatically. It's also exciting what it means for the games, Roots. Forever, the game developers have always had to develop for the lowest common denominator. And not only are we about to see the biggest jump in between generations with the graphics cards, but we're also about to see an even bigger jump between the generations with console. So the lowest common denominator for the next couple of years is going to be pretty damn high. And what that's going to mean is games the likes of which we have never seen before.
Wow. Well, that's good. Yeah. And not only that, but hardware has been limited as well, as far as like with the Rift, they've always been trying to shoot for that 970, right? They're not going to have to shoot for that anymore as more people start to raise the bar. The 970 is just going to become obsolete, I'd say, within a year. I mean, right now, like my son's been thinking about getting a video card. I mean, granted, he's going to get a 2080 probably. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to run out and get a 3080 right off the bat, but I don't know. Maybe it'll just somehow materialize. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd like one. I really would, especially with this new headset coming. But I can't have everything, Roots, and there are other things I want more. So I'm probably going to wait and see what AMD brings. I mean, even if I'm not going to get an AMD card, if they come with something good, it could drop the prices of the NVIDIA cards even further. But even if it don't, we're already starting to see rumors and leaks of the TIs and the super versions of the lines that they've announced. So good things come to those who wait. And as badly as I want to just run right out right now and buy one of these graphics cards, I'm probably going to hold off.
I think you're gonna hold off. You learned your lesson last time, Wes. You got one quick. If you'd waited, well, I don't know, maybe you could have still got the same deal, but you ended up benefiting from it, but it was a pain in the ass, you said, right? So why not just kind of let everything fall? And I'm kind of where you're at. I mean, it's not like I'm sitting with a crappy card. I need to get the PlayStation 5, and that's where my focus is going to be probably for my next purchase. Because it is sounding like it's going to be limited, and I was talking to this customer the other day, and we were talking about PlayStation 5, and he said that he's heard it's going to be limited too, and I'm starting to think it is going to be. Our initial worries were more warranted than their fantastical stories about doubling production, if they could, because apparently it didn't work, Wes. Either that or their production was going to be so small that we're still end up with a lesser amount. So,
well, when they, in fairness, when they doubled the production projections for the PlayStation 5, it was the number of projected consoles produced through next March.
okay.
So it's not for launch day per se. I'm sure it'll amount to a few more for launch day, but what we're talking about is really all the way through the holidays and through the entire launch window.
Oh, cool. Well, how exciting. I can't wait. Coming up, Wes.
Another thing, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We're coming up on it, man. We're running out of September, and we just started.
Dude, it's going to be here before you know it. And I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to have new headsets, we're going to have new games, new graphics cards. I mean, it is a very, very exciting time. Might I say, possibly the most exciting time since I became a VR gamer. We're living it right now.
Yeah. Yeah. All these good games around the corner, right? And some of the software, I mean, I'm sure we'll be talking about it on future episodes, but Alex has been dropping bomb after bomb about all this stuff. There's all sorts of stuff going on with flat gaming and bringing it into VR. And I don't understand enough about it to really talk about it. I just glimpsed over your guys' conversation, but it just excited me all over again. So
yeah, dude, a lot to be excited about. And another thing I'd like to point out, something to be really excited about with these graphics cards and really every the consoles as well is the architecture. If you watch that NVIDIA keynote and the deep dive when they break down some of the things that they're doing differently with these cards, is they've reduced the latency in the path that the data has to travel. They've pretty much cut the CPU out of the rendering process for the frames, and they've got with the GDDR6X memory being so fast, they're able to just feed the frames directly into the VRAM,
Wow.
much like the PlayStation 5 was doing. And I know people are going to, laugh, but, a few months ago when Tim Sweeney said that perhaps PC could take a page out of PlayStation 5's book, it's this sort of optimization, exactly this, that he was talking about. So as funny as it was back then, we're actually starting to see it. Now, obviously, we don't think that PS5 was the inspiration behind this. Obviously, they would have had to have been designing this for at least a year, probably longer. But it's that same approach that Sony is taking to their SSD and GPU. I mean, it's not exactly the same way that they're going about it, but it's the same idea, the same concept that's being put to work in the 3080 as well as the 3090.
I liked everything you just said, made me happy, Wes. Sounds so good, right? We're just, I mean, it's going to be so amazing. We're right on the cusp.
Well, it just points back to what we talked about a couple of months ago when we did the "What Will Define the Next Generation" episode. You remember that one?
Hmm.
And we went through all of these different features and ideas, if you will, about what we might see next generation. And our conclusion at the end of the show is that the biggest defining factor in the next gen of gaming was going to be efficiency and optimization. And with the redesign of the PlayStation as well as these graphics cards, with the VRSS 2.0 and the AI upscaling, all of this stuff that we're seeing uh, that is revolved around getting more out of less. It just goes to show that we were spot on the money with that episode, Roots, and it's really awesome to see it actually come to fruition right before our eyes.
And it's all happening in every place, every the video card, because this video card is going to free up more power for your processor, right? Or you won't need it as much, so then your specs for requirements for that will go down a little bit for some of these games, I would imagine. But it's crazy times.
Yeah, and I mean, just to goes to show what we're talking about here. In these graphics cards, if NVIDIA's numbers are true, and that's a big asterisk, of course, we have yet to see independent testing, with the exception of a very, very limited test from Digital Foundry. But what what I've noticed on it, one of the biggest glaring things to me was the reduction in the amount of VRAM. I mean, the VRAM, with the exception of the 3090, the VRAM in the 3080 and the 3070 is significantly less even than my 1080 Ti. So the fact that they're claiming all this extra performance with significantly less VRAM just goes to show you what leaps and bounds they've made with regards to optimization.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, Radio Runt says he might end up getting the 3080 instead of the 3090. That's what I would get, man. $1,000, dude. You could almost get your yaw for that. You know.
I was actually mulling around the idea of a 3070 Roots. I mean, the thing's just $500, and it's about a 20 to 30% increase over the 2080 Ti
Wow.
at $500. I mean, how nuts is that?
That is crazy, dude. It makes me so happy I didn't get the Ti, Wes. I mean, I got the 2080, but I didn't spend that much money.
Oh,
My
you were
God.
talking about it too. Like even after you got your 2080, you were like, "Dude, I'm going to sell it and go for the Ti."
Well, I could have traded it in. They had that upgrade program, but yeah, no, I
Oh,
mean,
that's
I
right.
mean, 20%. I'd still get the 3080 probably just because I got to have the bragging rights, you know. So when people say, "What do you have?" 3080, they're like, "Whoa." But no, I don't know that 20%. So what is the difference between this 3070 and the 3080?
The biggest difference between the two is well, I mean, there's some very glaring differences. The and it all stems from the VRAM. Uh, the 3070 runs with GDDR6 VRAM,
Hmm.
and the 3080 and 3090 run on GDDR6X.
Oh,
And I know that that's just one letter, but the difference is fairly large.
oh wow.
The X variant of the RAM is actually about twice as fast
Dude.
as the regular GDR6.
I
So what that allows is a moment ago when I was talking to you about some of their PlayStation like optimizations that they make, that's all on the 3080 and 3090, and it's all made possible because they have this very, very fast VRAM.
wow. Yeah, Jim Hall says he would just say $200 more is worth getting the 3080. I kind of agree. I mean, I would lean getting the 3080, but I don't even know if I'm getting one at all. I got the 2080. I'll, if I get it, it'll be a while down the road. I don't want to suck up
But
somebody else's copy.
yeah, yeah, it's an easy thought when you think of it that way. Just $200, but it's not just $200. It's $700. So the question for most of us that are thinking about getting the 3070, the question isn't 3070 or 3080. It's it's the 3070 or the 1080, right?
Mm.
Because really can't afford the 700, right? We can maybe scratch up the five. So the question is, Roots, do we get the 3070 now, or do we wait and probably get like a 3080 Ti 6 months from now?
Ah, wow, man, you got all sorts of you're very optimistic. That sounds good. I mean, I'd see 6 months is 6 months, even though I say that I feel like, oh man, I spent all that money on the 2080. The time that I had it was well worth the time that I had it. So it just depends. I would probably end up getting it now, but I mean, if you could get a TI, uh, in the same 6 months down the road, I don't know. No, it's maybe a
Well,
good call
that,
too.
that's what the rumor has it, that there are super and TI variants in the works, and the reduced VRAM that I was talking about a moment ago, the
Mm.
lower number of VRAM, not going to be the case uh, with the super and
Oh,
TI versions. That's the main difference with those, is that they're actually going to have more VRAM as opposed to less.
yeah, I can't slum it with all that with a little bit of VRAM. It's probably better than my card, So I guess it is better than my card.
Yeah, well, that's kind of your card was kind of the benchmark they were comparing everything against.
Mm.
But basically, everything they said was about how it was better than Roots's card. This one's this much better than Roots's card, and this
Oh
one's
god.
even more better than Roots's
Yeah,
card.
this is how what Roots really did fuck up. He shouldn't have. Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's. I think it's an amazing card. I'm excited to see it, and everything that you were saying just about the fact that it's gonna completely bypass a CPU. That's huge. That to me sounds more huge than the ray tracing and all the other bullshit with the 2080s. That sounds like a better thing to have, that you can actually see. You're gonna benefit right off the bat, especially like for
Yeah,
people that are streaming, even streaming. Like I would imagine that's gonna, maybe if you had that, it would make you able to where you wouldn't need a two stream setup maybe. So
yeah, and there's all sorts of brand new baked in streaming features for those of us who do this. And I mean, there's tons of new things that coming. I mean, ray tracing even is actually going to be a usable thing now, Roots.
oh,
And that's what I was going to say. What I was really thinking, at the top when you were talking about how the entry level machines are going to be attainable now for the general public. That's going to be true, but man, a year and a half from now, like when after all of the consoles and all of the new graphics cards have been around for a while and the new games come out, they're all going to have ray tracing, and these old 10 series cards are going to seem like dinosaurs at that point.
yeah, it's crazy. Well, remember the rush for them too, to do all the data mining, right? Think about what they can do with the data mining with these. I'm just
Phil
kidding.
Yarn says Fallout 4 VR at 90 equals the 3090. That's funny. I wonder if we finally have enough power Roots to run Fallout 4 VR smoothly.
Well, it makes you wonder too. Is it that well, we might get to a point where we realize it's the optimization, and it's not ever gonna. Like some games, never get better. Like you get to a point and then they just kind of flatten out because it's not necessarily that you don't have the right power. It's just not optimized right?
Exactly. Well, and you know, optimization again, it's the name of the game. And I mean, PlayStation 4 VR is really the proof of that. I mean, I guess Oculus Quest as well. I mean, you shouldn't be able to run VR on that hardware. And to the contrary, some of the very best games that we've ever seen have been on PlayStation VR. And I mean, VR games wouldn't even boot on a PC with the similar specs. And that just goes to show you optimization's where it's at, you know.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyway, didn't really plan on doing a whole new segment on the graphics cards. Just wanted to talk about them a little bit, and that just goes to show exactly one other thing that I said last week that turned out to be true. I said, just wait until the NVIDIA keynote. We're all going to be sitting here frothing at the mouth over these graphics cards, and here we are, right? We can't stop talking about them.
Yeah, because the last version was like most people were like, you know, if they already had a 1080, they just didn't care for the most part. There wasn't a big enough jump for most people. So
No, it was a tiny jump and a big escalation in price to go with it, and we're basically seeing the exact polar opposite this generation. We're seeing a huge, again, probably the biggest jump we've ever seen in performance between generations, and we're doing so at a reduced price. And I think that's for a number of reasons. I think that that's because of the competition coming from the consoles, as well as the competition or the projected prospect of competition from AMD. I think NVIDIA knows it's got some other things to compete with when it comes to our dollars. And they know they can't come out with $1,000 graphics card this generation and end up selling a buttload of them.
yeah, and people aren't primed for it. They were primed for it before. You know, they knew they could get away with it. I don't think they could as much this time. So
Yeah, Phil Yarn says, I want that big son of a gun. Dude, just wait. There's going to be a 3080 Ti that's just a sliver under the performance of that 3090, and you're probably going to be able to pick it up for $800, $850. So just chill, save yourself $700, bro.
get it today. I was just kidding.
Anyway, let's do what we do on the Monday show, Roots. And what we do on the Monday show is talk about some damn games. And we got some pretty good ones this week, huh?
Yeah, especially this first one, man. What a gem, right?
Yeah, dude, I wish you could have got to play more of it because I've really had a great time playing Yupitergrad. We've talked about it a lot in the prior few weeks. We talked about it up to launch. We talked about it a little bit last week as some Valve Index players were having difficulty getting the game to boot. And you got to play it a little bit. You went through the tutorial, shut it down, went to bed, come back the next day, and you haven't been able to get it to boot since, huh?
Yeah, it's bad. You know, I feel like I got some bad mojo. You know, I was laughing at all the U Index players. I was like, you suckers, you can't play this. And I went to put it on and then couldn't play it. As I'm having the exact same issue too. That's what's weird is it's showing that first like loading up thing and then it goes black. And I'm not 100% convinced. I am pretty much convinced actually that it's my computer somehow. I don't know. Had some weird issues lately, so I might have to redo my hard drive and switch it to a PCI E slot anyway, one of those fast ones, and just you know, fix it because I
Talking
gotta
about
play
getting an M.2
Yeah.
drive, like one of the sticks.
Yeah, I figure I might as well. Or isn't that the ones that you had that stick right in, right?
You have to be careful though, Roots. You have to be careful because just the fact that they go in that slot doesn't mean that they're the fast variant. What you're looking for is called NVMe, and it's a lot quicker than the SATA drives. But you can get SATA drives that'll go into that same slot. So you have to be careful what you're getting. Be sure that you're getting a highly rated NVMe drive, or you could just call your boy Wes here and Weasel will hook you up with the knowledge.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, that's what I want to do because I need to redo it or something because I want to play this game. Radio Runt was telling me it reminds him a lot of Portal, and I kind of got that vibe, at least to what I played of it. And you said you hadn't played Portal. I played Portal 2 a little bit, but man, I just like the way that the game feels, the puzzles, and just the beginning, man. Like when we took off and or was going up into the space station, and it was just so cool. I just really think that this game nailed just about everything that it's trying to do. So
Yeah, it's just fun, right? It's one of those games that are just fun. And for those of you who are wondering how the game is structured, it's a swinging game. The locomotion is very similar to Winland's, but it might even feel better than Winland's, right, Roots?
yeah, because you can control with that crank that's on the front or whatever the hell that is. And how cool is that as you're like using it, looking at it, and just seeing how the mechanisms working in the gun? It's just super cool, and you can control the rate either just by yanking on it, or you can use that like to fine tune, and you can't move at all, right? Unless that's the only way you can move is through with those suction cup things. So it's a little bit difficult at first to get used to, like through the tutorial, but and it right off the bat, man, even the tutorial, some of the puzzles are like, whoa, like how the hell am I supposed to get up there? But that's what's so cool about it. I guarantee you get stuck on some of these puzzles for a while, and how satisfying it would feel to get past it. I would imagine, because Roots only got to do the tutorial, which happens to me a lot. Man, it's my own fault because I always stop. Like I said, why did I stop? I don't know. It just really pisses me off.
Yeah, I was kind of in the same situation as you, where I was playing it kind of as my last thing of the day, really late at night or early in the morning, as it were. But I got hooked on it, man. I could not stop playing it,
Mm.
and I mean, it was daylight before I put the thing down. I think I started like I don't know about 6:30 a.m. and ended up playing it till like I don't know 7:30, 8 o'clock. I played through like 15 or 16 levels of it, and man, I just had a blast. As we said, that the swinging locomotion feels great. It takes a little while to get used to, but after you do, you have more control even than you would have in like a Winlands uh, type game. But it's a different style of game to Winlands, as is these levels are classically designed platforming levels. I mean, they're you could see this kind of game being on like an old 16-bit or even 8-bit machine. Not obviously in first person, but just I'm talking about the level design. You're swinging across pits, trying to make it up on high platforms, on low platforms. You're trying to dodge as things are swinging and trying to crush you and cut you and kill you. It's really one of the oldest and most tried and true gameplay concepts ever, and it actually it really works well in VR, and it's awesome just to see such a pure platformer come to us in 2020.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's got a pretty good story behind it, right? Like it's intriguing as far as when you're going through trying to figure out what's going on, at least from what I've seen so far. But I would
Yeah.
agree. And Radio Runt says he thinks the movement's way better than Winlands, and I agree. I like it a lot more, and can't wait to play it again.
Yeah, as far as the story goes, it's funny, man. There's humor in it. They, it's set up as you're this cosmonaut going to a scientific lab that's on Jupiter. They're mining Jupiter for fuel, but basically the whole thing is set up to make fun of the old Soviet Union mentality. So they'll tell you like you'll find a big screen in the next room. Go in there and see what you think, or it'll tell you what to think, and basically alluding to some of the old propaganda and mind control of the old regime. But there's tons of stuff like that make jokes about the Soviet strength and being part of the collective. It's kind of 30-year-old political humor, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah, No, I enjoyed what I've seen so far of it. And what is that? I meant to look this up because I ask you every time. What's the cost on this one?
It's
15,
$15.
15. Oh yeah, that's right. I bought it. $15. Yeah, dude. I mean, this will tell you how good this game is, or at least how much I enjoyed it. I played it for free on a Viveport. That's how I played it. And then I bought it on Steam because I enjoyed it so much. And I saw that it was on Mamefan and Alex's wish list. So I was like, well, shit, dude, I want to buy it anyway. But
Yep.
yeah, definitely worth $15 all day.
Yeah, it's free on Vive. Well, free with your Infinity subscription on Viveport. You can also buy it for $15 on Steam as well as the Oculus Store. And you might want to consider getting it on the Oculus Store because who knows, Roots? I could definitely see this one day being an Oculus Quest title.
I wonder, do you think it would play better on the Oculus Store? For me?
Probably. I mean, if you're a person who plays standing a lot and likes to turn physically, definitely, because especially in some of the later levels, I mean, I played seated for a lot of it, but I used the crap out of the swivel chair, right? I was spinning around and getting my cable all wrapped up on the chair. But yeah, I could definitely see where tetherless would add something.
Mm.
Let me ask you, Roots, a lot of people kind of poo-pooed the game when we were talking about the trailer, just dismissing it out of hand because of the cel-shaded style of graphics. And this game just reaffirmed what I already believed, and that is that this style of graphics, it looks great in VR, doesn't it?
It looks great in VR. The game, and I don't care what game it is. It's what feels good, especially in VR, man. Like, and it feels good. So I don't. I just think a lot of people are going to miss out on a lot of good games because they're graphics snobs. And somebody said this in the Discord the other day, and they were just basically saying the same thing, that it was all about how it feels, and the graphics aren't as important. I mean, obviously they are important, but I think the way that it's designed in the cell shading, I think it works. It really does look comic booky, and it just looks different when you're in there, man. Like I'm looking at this screen and I'm seeing suction cups, like could be plungers, for a toilet. But when you're in there, it looks cool. So, I don't know.
But yeah, that's really the thing. I kind of get being a graphic snob to a point, uh, but this looks good. You know what I mean? It's not that this looks bad. Sometimes I feel like people dismiss this style of art because they know it's easier to render and they just dismiss it because of that. Because, if it's not, making your graphics card catch on fire, then it must not look good. That's not the case. This is a very good looking game. And I feel like this style of art in a couple of different games like this, like Radial G Proteus, like Lies Beneath. I feel like this style of art actually adds to the game rather than takes away from it.
I do too. I think they're stuck 15, 20 years ago when graphics were everything, or maybe even 10 years. But we're not there anymore, right, Wes? Especially in VR. I mean, obviously, graphics. You can have intense graphics. You can have graphics like this, and for this game, it works really well.
Yeah. And just hilarious too, by the way, in case you all were wondering, those grappling devices are what they look like. Those are toilet plungers with fishing reels. That's
Ooh,
what they're made out of.
okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they work pretty well. I wish I had toilet plungers that work that well. And in my experience, they never work that well.
Well, have you ever tried to climb a wall with
I've
them?
never tried. I've never tried suction cupping myself up on the wall, but I'm gonna try it now.
In addition to your grappling mechanics, there's also a little jet booster thing that's built into it, so that when you are standing on the ground, you are able to move about 10 feet or so. It'll let you scoot along the floor, but then like the energy that propels it will run out, and you'll have to wait a few seconds for the meter to fill back up so that you can scoot a few feet more. What those boosters are primarily meant for, however, are swimming areas. There are quite a few swimming areas in this game. So it's not just about the aerial platforming, but there are classically styled swimming areas too, where you go under the water, you use your propellers to swim around, and there are traps under there, just like there are above the water. Things swinging, things trying to crush and grind you. Uh, Again, just the most basic, you know, platforming level design that we've ever seen. But again, it's a tried and true genre, and I'm starting to feel Roots like you know, after playing through as much of it as I did in that one sitting, that 50 levels might not be enough for me. I might be a little bit upset because I think I'm going to play through this thing in like 3 to 4 settings.
I think you're going to be upset 100% then, because I saw somebody's comment saying that they played through the whole game and they said that they counted and there was like 33 or 34 levels or something, and they were a little upset that it wasn't the 50 plus that they said. Now, whether that's true or not, that's just random Joe's Steam comment. But as I'm sitting here, Wes, I'm thinking about spending another $15 so I can play this game right now. Like, I don't want to wait to, you know.
You're probably still within your refund window with Steam, right?
Yeah, that's true. But I still got, I don't know. I'm thinking about it, Wes. I might do it. I wanna play it on. I guarantee the SDK, the Oculus SDK, would be different than whatever's going on with whatever's happening. But I mean,
Well, it would be worth it. It would be worth a shot. What I would do, I'd buy it on the Oculus Store before I got my Steam refund. And if it works on the Oculus Store, refund the Steam one. If it doesn't work on the Oculus Store, just refund the Oculus one.
yeah, or just keep both, and then the devs get extra copy, right?
Well, there you go. You could do it that way as well, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to. I got to do something. I got to play this game.
It's fun. It really is. I highly recommend it. 2 thumbs up. I think $15. You know, if it were a bit longer of a game, I would say that it's underpriced. But from what I'm hearing, it's not going to be that long. So you know, 15 is probably about right for it. But if you're from my generation and you enjoy this style of gameplay, or if even like you like games like Windlands or that Spider-Man Far From Home demo, you're really going to enjoy this. It's really well done. Um, it looks good, it plays good, and it's funny. So some really big areas in this game. One of the things I really liked is the scale of some of these rooms. I mean, you get into some of these rooms and they're just gigantic, big open spaces.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and like I can't wait to see that. I haven't gotten to all these elaborate places Wes has gotten to. You pretty much are probably almost beating it, right? You said halfway over halfway.
No, I don't think. Well, I hope not. I mean, I've done. I was either like 15, 16, 17 level.
Oh,
There's no way really to tell when you're going from one level to the next. I just know that I'm that far along because it told me after I got done what level I was on by looking at my game save. But I mean, as far as like just looking at the levels and trying to determine how far you've made it, I mean, there was probably 4 or 5 main areas that I worked my way through.
okay.
And that translated somehow over into level 15 or whatever.
Oh, cool. Look, there's all these parts everywhere, right? I guess everybody's got suction cups in this place. Plungers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the things you notice as soon as you get there, they tell you that you're about to go into like the common room where you'll hang out with all of your other astronaut friends, and all you find is like their gear. There's nobody around.
Yeah.
Like obviously they all came here and died, you know.
Yeah. Jerks.
Yeah, I know, right? Why couldn't they stay alive long enough for you to
Hang out. I
show
just
up,
wanted to hang out with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Bump suction cups, you know?
Yeah, dude, or elbows. I had somebody do that the other day. I was like, okay.
Yeah, Phil Yarn says I have it downloaded on Viport. I got to play it now. Yeah, man, it's good. And let us know if you have any trouble with running it, because obviously the Index people had trouble running it. I think Didn't someone else say they had trouble getting it to boot as well, Roots?
Yeah, but I think it was all index. I really think whatever is going on mine is got to be exclusive to mine. But I would be interested if is are you going to play it on the index, Phil, or do you have a Rift S as well, or no?
Yeah, that's right. He did just get an index, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't know what is
Hussein
you.
X says,
Oh, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
No, you're reading the same thing I was going to say.
He says, "What does Jupitergrad mean?" Well, this is my layman's understanding of it. Just trying to use a little common sense with it. You're on Jupiter, so I got to imagine Jupiter is Jupiter, and Grad means city, because we have all of these cities in the old Soviet Union, like Stalingrad, right? Means Stalin city. So I got to imagine that like Jupitergrad would mean Jupiter city.
Okay.
But again, that's just me trying to think through it. That didn't come from the dev or anything.
Yeah, it sounds saying that's yeah, it sounds logical to me. And Phil, you're on a good chance you're not going to get it to start. Just throwing that
Yeah,
out
it's not
there.
going to run on the index, bro. Sorry, not today anyway.
Yeah.
It does not support index. It supports Oculus Rift and HTC Vive, and the devs were actually quite clear about that, even in the build up to launch.
Yeah.
So
It says on the page too. That right now it's not. They're working on it, but
I wonder if you could buy it on like the Oculus Rift store and run it through Revive.
yeah, maybe that would be interesting, right? Do that, Phil. It's not free.
He said he sold his Rift S for $400. Well, I can't blame you there, man. I think I would sell my 1080 Ti for $400 right now if somebody would offer it, but I don't think they will, Roots.
I don't know, man. A ways away. People want it today. What can I get today for 400?
That's true.
You know?
That's true. I think the case with how I sold my Rift S for 500. I mean, I got a big thick stack of small bills, Roots. I think some of these people don't have credit cards, and they can't order things online, and they're just happy to be able to hand over some some small bills and get something like this on the quick today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Plus,
yeah, maybe that turns out to be the case.
yeah. Plus, not everybody's watching what's happening with Nvidia, or they have no idea. The prices are about to plummet. Then it's really a moral thing for you. How much
Yeah,
can you sell it?
he says use the 1080 Ti in your second PC. That's the 98% chance of what's actually going to happen in reality. I probably will list it, Roots, for like $500. See what happens with it. I do not expect anyone to bite on it, but you never know, right?
Yeah, you never know, for sure.
Anyway, Jupitergrad, two thumbs up here. Definitely recommend. You should pick up Viveport Infinity. Honestly, is what you should do. But if you don't have Viveport Infinity, you should buy it for $15 if you have an Oculus Rift or HTC Vive. Otherwise, you should probably wait.
Yeah, and just take my advice. Like, if you start playing it and you enjoy it, don't take a break. Just you might not be able to go back to it. We all take it for granted that we can go back to these games, and when something happens, and like Roots, man, I just want to have put in like another hour or two, and I just didn't get to. So
You'll get there, man. I have faith.
yeah, me too.
It's too good of a game. A lot of people are going to buy this game, and I think that we're going to see some better support from what is a relatively small development team there at Game Dust.
Mm.
And
You just solidified my decision. I am going to buy it again. I'm just going to keep the other copy for the small gaming company. They need it, and it's a good game, right?
yeah, maybe Roots subsidizing index support for all of you out there who are upset. So
Yeah.
person, if you're out there, Roots has got your back.
Yeah, I got your back. That's right.
Anyway, let's talk about the other game we got to try. And then you got to try it just today, which obviously you played it a little bit the other day as well. But you made some pretty good progress in Anderson today, didn't you?
Yeah, actually, and I was reminded. I was surprised about a couple things, Wes. I was surprised at again at how good everything looked, the sound, everything. But I was surprised that I'm starting to like this robot Wes. One, like the voice, they nailed it, man. The voice acting or whatever, like every time he talks, I enjoy it. You know what I mean? I'm like, I want to hear what he has to say. And I'm really enjoying the puzzles. I'm enjoying pretty much everything about it, except for whoever's filming this video I got. It's a little choppy there, but I didn't have that choppy experience. But no, I was very pleasantly surprised with just about everything, especially his little buddy there. And it was good. It was really good.
Yeah, I agree. The voice acting was very good in this. I do need to preface this discussion with a couple of things. First of all, this is not a finished game. It's not even close to being a finished game. This is a very early build that just hit early access on Steam last week. Um, Again, the game's called Anderson. It's from a studio called AJRPG, and we'd like to thank the good people at AJRPG for providing us with review access to it. But again, this is a very small development team, a very early build of the game. So there was tiny bits of jank, the type of thing that you would expect in a game in this current stage of development. So we're not going to harp on any of that stuff. We fully expect that that stuff's going to get patched out as the game progresses in its build. What we're going to talk about is the things that we liked about it. And I'm like Roots here. There's a whole lot to like about this.
Yeah, yeah. And I know you're a puzzle person. So what did you think about the puzzles? Because I thought they were unique and they didn't, I mean, they thought outside the box, but they weren't like mind breaking to where you had to sit there and like bash your head. Like I asked you for help in that one thing, and then within 5 minutes, I found the thing on the ground that told me everything. I was like, oh, because I didn't find it. It was underneath a whole bunch of stuff. And he's like, I go in the room, I start throwing shit around. Ended up under a bunch of pile of stuff that I was shocked. I was shocked by that letter, by the way, last night. It was a good story going on too. I didn't know that it was this early in development, but if this is early development, I really can't wait to see what the game is like when it's completely finished, because so far I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, this is basically the first level or two of what's going to end up being a pretty epic story campaign, or at least that's how it seems. I agree. The narrative's quite good here, or at least it's the beginning of what has the potential of being a good story. And I don't want to give away too much of it. There are clues that you can find in this game, both in these letters, like this guy just picked up, as well as the things that Anderson, the AI companion, says to you. You can take some context out of all of this
Hmm.
and kind of piece together what happened here before you showed up and who you are. But yeah, the puzzles I felt exactly like you said. I felt like they were hard enough to make you stop and think for a minute. They weren't hard enough to give you a headache. Generally, if you're perceptive and you're catching all the clues and you're able to work through things logically, within a couple of minutes you can work through most of these puzzles. Um, this I would say that it kind of plays like an escape the room, even though it's not. You kind of get out of the room pretty quickly, and a lot of the games actually outside. But I guess if I had to compare it to something as far as how it plays, how it's structured, I would compare it to something like a Abduction, and obviously,
Hmm.
Abduction being a world-renowned AAA title from an outstanding team. I'm not saying that it's on that level of polish and quality, but the game very much plays like Abduction, doesn't it, Roots?
Yeah, and there's certain parts I actually kind of had like an abduction vibe as well, and had that exact thought. I was like, this is kind of abduction like. But yeah, obviously it's smaller studio. I guess this has been around for a couple years, right? At least the free demo that everybody played, so people have seen this for a while. This is just finally them, I guess, getting their feet wet, right? Getting it out there to the. And is this more than the demo? You know?
Yeah, well, the demo was just kind of it was a literally that it was a tech demo, uh, basically to demonstrate. the idea that they had for a game and where they wanted to take it. So they've started working on it, and obviously they've got a couple of years into it. They felt like this first part of the campaign was near complete. Uh, but again, one of the things that they were pretty clear with me about is that it is early access, and they would like feedback. So I'm going to help them out there. I'm going to write them an email, let them know what I liked, what I didn't like. Um, but yeah, I think that like most teams that are small like this, they need funding, right? So when they get a good solid chunk of a game like they have here, um, obviously you're going to want to put it in early access and monetize it. I mean, the only other options to go into Kickstarter, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I think this is a good route. I mean, it's letting people try it. I've so far I've enjoyed it. I guess you played through everything that's there so far. It took you a little bit over an hour. What, an hour and a quarter? Correct? Yeah.
Yeah, it took me about an hour and 15 minutes. There was probably, we'll say 5 to 7 puzzles in the section of the game that I played.
Oh, so I'm
It
actually
really
getting
very.
close, huh?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm getting close, right?
Yeah, dude. I don't know how far you made it after I talked to you there, but there was basically 2 more puzzles left after that, and then you make it into the final area of this build.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, well, I don't have that much left. I'm gonna have to try to finish it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You actually the next puzzle after that's not the most difficult thing to figure it out, but it's kind of tedious to do.
Hmm.
And then after that, the next part probably took me longer than any other part, but it was more just a you know, go find something like a fetch quest almost. And then actually, now that I think about it, after that there is another puzzle. So you've got 3 more
Hmm.
puzzles,
Well,
and then you make it to the end.
now let me ask you this: was there any part of you that felt trepidation when you gave him a body? I just felt like, oh my God, like maybe I did something wrong. Like I don't know. I just have a bad feeling about it, Wes. I love Anderson. He's so quirky. He's fun, and I don't trust him, but I love him. He's a good AI. So,
Well, no, he seemed a little kind of happy-go-lucky to me, so I never really mistrusted him or anything. I do find it kind of strange, like maybe he's not sharing the whole story, because if you look around, there are some things that give you cause for pause, and we'll just leave it at that. I don't know if you found any of this stuff, but obviously there aren't any people around, right?
yeah, and just the whole story and the when he when I brought him around and he's like and he starts talking and I just something weird, Wes. I just have this bad feeling that something weird's happened with Anderson, and I'm excited to see what happens in the future. So, but yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
worth picking up. I think if you like this
Yeah,
type
man,
of game.
that's the other good thing about this. I think that I don't even think that this one's as expensive as Yupitergrad, or it might be the same price. But it was on sale, wasn't it, for like $10 or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me check. Well, that's not. Let me look at the
Yes,
store.
that's what I'm doing. I'm looking it up in real time, as we like to do here on the Monday show.
Man, I don't like how it doesn't. Okay, there we go. $15. Yep.
Yeah, $15. It was on like a launch special for 10, but I guess that's over with now. $15. But you know what? Um, due to the prospect of more levels coming, and I need to really ask the developer, how much more they have planned for the game. But I felt like $10 was a good price for what we've already got, right? So like if we're gonna get more, I feel like 15 is fair.
Yeah, I agree. Scion VR says, is the story memorable as like abduction? I think it's memorable. Um,
Yeah, I need to clarify this, guys. This game is not on the level of abduction. The comparison I was trying to draw there was what kind of game is this? Well, it's a story-driven puzzle game, kind of like abduction. The puzzles are not like that. The story isn't quite on that level. The polish certainly isn't on that level. I was just trying to draw this one comparison
Hmm.
that it's that style of game, and there are parts of and things about it that kind of put you in the mind of Abduction.
Yeah, good point. Phil Yarn says that Sony should work on some type of software that turns any flat game to a VR game like in Dreams. Sounds like something Wes and I were saying a couple weeks ago. That's a very good idea. I think that would be a very good idea, Phil, for sure.
Yeah, I think that at the very least, and I've said this for years, that the PlayStation 5 should have a 3D theater mode in it. So you wouldn't necessarily need it to be full VR, but there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to take a first party Sony exclusive flat game, put it in the console, put on your headset, and play it on a virtual screen in full on 3D. If Ralph can do it with Vortex, if the other guy can do it with Helix Vision, certainly a multi-billion-dollar corporation like Sony can knock it out of the park, right? They could do this, and it wouldn't take much effort.
Yeah, and then you'd have all those games as potential content. You could have a brand new headset with nothing and just play all your games in 3D, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And I mean, think of the headsets that would sell, dude. Think if you could play God of War or like The Last of Us in 3D, like right now. And that said, on a side note, Sony reaffirmed this last week that it's full steam ahead with bringing their first party games to PC. So we're gonna, if they don't do the immersive screen thing on PS5, we're just gonna do it in Helix Vision anyway.
yeah, yeah, true, very true.
But yeah, I completely agree. Whoever said that.
Oh, Phil Yarn, he was, yeah,
Anyway, yeah, I had fun in this game. Again, about an hour and 15 minutes worth of content here. If you're particularly adept at puzzle games, you'll probably be finished with it in an hour. I feel like the hour in itself is worth about $10, which was the price on it when I got the game. I didn't pay that. Again, we got a review copy, but that's what the price was at that time. But the prospect of continuing on, if it gets any more content, I feel like the $15 price tag is going to be fair. And I feel like the more people buy it at $15, the sooner we'll get that next chapter, which I'm very much looking forward to.
yeah, that's true. And I just remembered where I was stuck at, Wes. The books, and I'll leave it at that. Gotta figure out what to do with those damn books.
Uh, Figuring out what to do is fairly simple. I mean, Anderson kind of spells that one out for you, but um, finding all of them and doing it in the proper order, that's kind of the difficulty to that one.
I kind of figured. I was like looking at them all and started putting them in different slots, and I was like, I think this has got to go in a specific order. And I was like, what the hell, dude? And then I was like looking at the clock, and I was like, time's ticking, and I got to start getting ready for the show. I was right on the edge, though. I had all of them in the slots. I just had to rearrange them.
You know who else is a slot?
My mom.
Thank God that
But
worked. I didn't know if the button was
there's three rows of the books, Roots. Two of them, it's fairly obvious how to put them in sequence. But there was one, dude, that I literally just had the trial and error and just keep moving them around until it clicked, you know?
That's the tedious part you were talking about. I get it. Yeah, because it was already tedious, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Was there something more?
Yeah. No, that was it.
Okay.
I think that's what I was talking about.
Story so far. I mean, I don't know enough about the story, Scion, so far. I mean, for me, it was what I found out was shocking a couple of different times, and I'm still trying to wrap my mind around everything that's happening. So I don't know. I don't even know if, do you know everything that's going on, or I'm sure there's probably still stuff in the air.
There's a lot of question marks here. It's still a lot of mystery. There's more of a backstory here than a story. Again, this is an hour long chapter here with bits and pieces of backstory that you put together. It's not as detailed as like an abduction is. There's really a lot left to uncover. but you do piece a few things together. But really, at this part, there's still a lot of mystery. You're still trying to really kind of figure out what happened, why you're here, and what your whole purpose is. All of that is still left untold
Yeah.
When you finish this section.
Okay. Cool.
And it's funny too when you end the thing. Anderson says to you, he's like, "Oh, look at this. It's weird. It's kind of unfinished here. Like it's as if this were an early access build of a video game or something." And it's funny. That's kind of how you realize that
It's
you're
over.
done.
Well, I
Yeah.
tell you, like I said, I like Anderson. I don't trust him, but I do like him. I think they're spot on with that robot, man, and the voice and the acting. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, some things here that were good. Some things here that were actually really good. In particular, I like the music. I felt like the
Mm.
soundtrack was very good. I felt like the voice acting was very good. The graphics were okay in some places. They were great in other places. Again, I expect stuff like this. This is the type of thing that gets better with time. It had a little bit of the jank, kind of like Into the Radius had when it was in its very early stages, but not quite on that level, you know. Um, there was a little bit of weirdness with grabbing and holding items, kind of like if you've ever played a chair in a room Greenwater, you'll know how sometimes you'll grab stuff and it'll just kind of move in a squirrely, weird way, and sometimes things will just shoot off for no reason. You'll get that every now and then. But for the most part, it's well done for what it is, and I fully expect it to improve with time, and I enjoy my time in it.
Yeah, yeah. If this is the beginning, I can't wait to see the end.
Mepper says the Venice Film Festival started today and lasts through the 12th. Yeah, this is cool, Roots. I just learned this right before we went on air. The Venice Film Festival has a VR exhibition this year, and all of the entrants are available for viewing in Viport Infinity right now.
Oh wow, dude. I always intend to do these things, and then I don't end up doing them. We're already like 3 or 4 days into that Burning Man, and it's already almost over, and I haven't gone in
Oh,
yet, Wes.
dude, listen. This Venice thing on Viport. Again, I just kind of caught glimpses of it as I was starting to go on the air. But one of the titles that I read on the list of stuff on display was Gnomes and Goblins.
Oh.
Yeah,
I've
right.
never seen Gnomes and Goblins or anything about it, so I definitely
Yeah.
need to check it out.
Yeah, for
Cool.
those of you who don't know, Gnomes and Goblins is the upcoming video experience, interactive
Hmm.
video experience that's been produced by Wes VR and Jean Favreau. This is something that we've been looking forward to for quite some time. It's unreleased, and if what I saw was true, it should be available for viewing in Viport right now. So,
Wow.
uh,
Definitely need to check it out.
yeah, on display for a week through the 12th, about 10 days actually. So those of you with Viport, definitely get in there and check that out. And what you're saying is absolutely true, Roots. We need to go into Somnium space to the Burning Man, right?
Yeah, I want to check that out. I want to look up the Burning Man and say "F you, mother." Oh,
Pepper
yeah.
says he thinks it's only the demo for Gnomes and Goblins.
Well, probably, but I've never seen that, so I know a lot of people say they've watched it in the past, but I've never seen it. So
Yeah. I don't know, man. I know. I've seen unreleased things like this before, like the line, for example. I saw in the Moor during
yeah.
the Tribeca wing of that last exhibit, and newsflash, Roots. The line just won an Emmy
Hmm.
for best use of immersive video making or
Wow.
something like that. We reported a week or two ago that they were nominated. They actually won. They won the Emmy.
Wow, and you got to see it for free ahead of time, and I got to see some shitty art that was like the worst wing, of the of the thing.
Yeah,
Damn it.
you went to the in development wing with all the unfinished projects.
Yeah, dude, I wasted all my time in the worst wing of the thing. That'll be my. It just shows you I should have just roamed everywhere. Should have went with you, or I should have watched your video. But I was trying to not spoil it, so I was kind of in a conundrum.
Yeah, look, this was a pretty cool part here. I thought, Roots, with the little buddy.
Oh yeah, that was cool. Yeah, and I liked when he was saying, my little buddy or whatever. And I was this whole area was cool. But yeah, and I don't see you beating Sea of Thieves in a day. Good luck, bud.
One thing I didn't appreciate about this room was the WASD. I need a controller, damn it. I don't want to use keys. That's not how we play games, Roots.
Yeah, give me a little joystick or whatever. It was kind of hard actually to get that little guy there through. I must have burned it up a couple times.
Yeah, I didn't. I was very careful about it. It took me forever, but we didn't die.
Yeah, I see. I had to test the boundaries, see if I could die. And then I was like, "Ooh, can't run
It's
into
always
those."
a good question.
Yeah.
And we'll actually talk about that a little bit more in a moment. But before that, we need to move on. Again, Anderson, big thanks to AJRPG for allowing Roots and I review access. Super cool developers, guys. You really should support them. Help them develop their game. Get a copy of it. And, the things you don't like about it, the things you do like about it, give them feedback, much like Scion did with Into the Radius. And let's polish this thing up. Let's help it to reach its potential. These are cool dudes. They actually reached out to us. This wasn't one of the games that we actually asked for access to. These guys noticed that we were promoting their launching their early access, and were actually very appreciative of it. So we appreciate them as well. And you guys let us know on the Discord what you think about Anderson.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, Roots, let's move on because it is time once again to play Game of the Month. And it's weird just how different the offerings are from month to month, right, on each platform.
Yeah, especially when you look at each platform and just try to figure out which one's the best. And sometimes there's not more than one. Sometimes there's just one game that makes it, and that makes it a little easier to pick, right?
Yeah, well, it's funny, man, because there are other months, right, where we'll have 4 or 5 that are all so shit that we just don't even pick a winner. And then there are other months where there are 4 or 5 that are all so great that we can't hardly pick a winner. We pick 2, right, or 3 sometimes.
Yeah.
But then there are other months where there's just one, but it's so good it probably would have won anyway, right? And I kind of think that happens to be the case this month with regards to PSVR. It's been hit or miss with PSVR pretty much since May. We had a month, like I said, that had nothing good that came out on it. And then we had a month, I think it was last month. Wasn't it last month where PSVR had like 5 great titles and it was the best platform of the month?
Yeah. Yeah. That's every month's different, right?
Yeah, and this month there was literally one release on PSVR in August, and that release was Vader Immortal, a Star Wars VR series. Now, this isn't your grandpa's Vader Immortal, Roots. This is the PSVR version, which means there are a few glaring differences than the one that we played. First of all, they didn't have to wait months in between the episodes, Roots. They got them all at once here in one package that was divided into episodes, but they came in a bundle. And no Sony tax here either, Roots. It was the straight $30, just like we paid for it.
Oh, wow. So how's the reception been? Everybody loving it? I mean, this is it. This is what you have PlayStation VR. You want a brand new game that's coming out or experience. You're going to get Vader Immortal in August. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's a good one to get, but it must have been received well, I'm assuming. I haven't really seen it.
Mostly. It actually has been quite polarizing, Roots. And it's interesting because some of the problems we had with it, they didn't have. And you know, when we first started playing it, we had that incessant black screen problem, right? Where you'd step an inch out of line and everything would go black. Well, they for the most part, they're not having to deal with that Roots at all. But the reason why they're not having to deal with that is because their only locomotion option is teleport and click turning.
Wow. Horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, is it though? I mean, we didn't have to teleport around, but I mean, every step we took, there was like a black screen, right?
And it took forever to walk anyway. You know,
Right.
it's just, I guess maybe it's not. And so that was the big thing everyone's complaining about, teleport.
Yeah, that's the big. There's also some bugs with it, fairly minor stuff. There's some audio glitching, some buzzing in certain parts. There's a problem with the menu being out of reach sometimes when you try to bring it up,
Mm.
and recentering doesn't fix it. There's some small bugginess and a lack of options here, pretty much. And some people are absolutely burning it at the stake because of it. And then others are saying, you know what, it's not the best port, but still, I enjoy being in a Star Wars episode. So most people are giving it a 7 or an 8 out of 10. But there are people out there giving it ones and twos that are just mad as hell, right? So
Yeah, I don't think it's a
again,
1 or 2, but for me, did anybody mention the being stuck in, because in the episodes of Star Wars, there's, I guess maybe there are people fight and they stand still, but they never aren't forced to stand in that spot. No, that's my one gripe about the whole thing is I want to move when I'm fighting. And that's about it.
no, actually, people really didn't complain about that
Hmm.
much. The fighting has been modified. It's no longer 360 on the PlayStation VR. They have modified it to a 180
Hmm.
radius, so you don't have guys coming up behind you
Oh,
anymore
okay.
on the PlayStation version.
That's probably actually, I mean, that way you have less jank, right?
Yeah, with the one camera setup, it's probably for the best.
Yeah. Cool. Well, so
Uh,
it wins by default then, right? Even though it probably would have won anyway.
right, exactly. And I know what you're saying out there, guys. That the actual winner should have been the Beat Saber Lincoln Park DLC pack. But if we had chosen that, we wouldn't be able to pocket all of these big time Disney bucks. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, we're getting paid big time. You know, that's funny because people will say that, and it's like, like when Beat Saber came to Oculus or whatever. Like I don't know. DLC it definitely is not. I don't think will ever win, right? Shouldn't.
No, it's not a game. There
Mm,
was actually other stuff too that came out that just don't qualify as game of the month because it's not a game, right?
yeah. Yep.
So anyway, Vader Immortal, a Star Wars VR series, PSVR game of the month because it was the PSVR game of the month. It was the only game on PSVR this month. So
Yep.
congratulations, ILMX Lab. Anyway, moving on to Oculus Quest, and I'm actually going to take just a second here to do a bit of research that I should have already done, Roots, but I actually forgot to come back and do this. But one of the titles on our Oculus Quest list is actually, it just came out of early access. And I can't remember if we put it up before for Game of the Month. We may have put it up for Game of the Month when it entered into early
Hmm.
access.
I don't
I'm not
remember,
quite sure.
but maybe we did.
It's kind of important to the conversation here, I think. So we're going to just look this up real quick. And while we're at it, I guess we could talk about our first entry, our first big release on the Oculus Quest this month, and that was Gravity Lab. And what Gravity Lab is a physics-based puzzle game from developer Mark Schramm. And this actually has been around for quite some time
Hmm.
on PCVR. It just got ported over into Quest. And by all accounts, Roots, um, a pretty solid port here.
It's PCVR, this exists. I've never heard of it. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been out for quite some time. I'm quite
Wow.
sure.
Looks like a Mamefan special. Moving also at least from Gadgeteer and stuff, right?
Yeah, we may even actually have that in our library.
Yeah, it's very possible. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, Mark Schramm actually has been a fairly prolific independent developer on the VR scene. A lot of people don't realize all the different stuff this guy's worked on. He's got his name in a lot of different credits, if you will. He kind of bounces around, but this one's his baby. This is pretty much him that created this. But this is one of the big hands behind Technolust and Lo-Fi. Actually, this is one of the guys that Blair's spending all of those Kickstarter funds to procure his services.
Oh, wow. Looks good, man. Looks pretty cool. It's intriguing to me. I've never heard of it. Looks cool.
All right, so it looks like Echo VR Quest beta opening on May 5th. So that brings us to our second Oculus Quest release. And again, this one may get disqualified on the basis that we have already talked about it, and that's Echo VR. Echo VR been around on the Quest for a little while now, but it just came out of early access. It's official roots. This is a thing. It's an officially supported full release for Echo VR on Oculus Quest.
I'm scared, Wes. If we don't pick this as being potential, Scion is going to stab me in the face the next time we get into contractors, guaranteed. And I've successfully shifted him to other people. He's now going after rendered reality. He usually leaves Roots alone. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if it's already been up on the docket once, we can't put it back, right? That's
Yeah,
what that would start a
the rule.
precedent.
That's the
That
rule.
would start a precedent that we would regret forever.
Yeah.
So I need to open up this playlist here.
Definitely looks good, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why Scion's never told me about how good this game is.
I know, it's like we see these guys playing it all the time, right? And
no one
mentioned ever invites us along.
Yeah, no one's
I don't
mentioned
know
it.
why.
No one wants to show me how to play it properly or anything.
Yeah, so we're talking about the Monday Show 40 here, Roots. This is why we keep the notes.
Now, this particular game is the reason why Scion VR said he will not get a reverb because
Roots.
It's been on there.
Yeah, we've already done this one. We did it in May when it released in the early access. So stricken from the game of the month, August.
Yeah, I feel dirty for even
no
having it
Echo
up there.
VR for you.
It's garbage. This game sucks. No, just kidding. I didn't know Ready at Dawn, man. I you know, I guess I mean, they're good, obviously good developer, right? Yeah, Scion's polishing its blade. I told you, man. Damn it.
Well, he's going to have to go take out his frustrations on the rendered reality guys, dude. We have rules. Rule of law is what dictates the day over here, brother.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hussein cracked his Rift S controller that he's had since day one. Still working great. Just got to be a little bit more careful. And he is, Scion, it is Echo Arena's fault. Don't try to say it's not. We blame the game in this chat.
So we have a bit of a quandary here, Roots. Now that Echo Arena is not part of the conversation,
it changes everything.
That brings us down to two titles. We have Gravity Lab by Mark Schramm, and then we have Shooty Fruity by End Dreams, which just came out this past week. I got to say that, like Gravity Lab, most people are saying that this is a very solid port to the Oculus Quest. But the problem being here is that I haven't played either of these titles on PC, and neither have you, right?
No, I've Shooty Fruity. I don't know, man. It's weird, dude. I've never even seen gameplay until right now. This is a very bizarre game. I've heard the name a million times. I've seen it on sale a million times. People say it's legit. I see a banana you're shooting at. I mean, it looks cool. The other game looked cool as well. As I guess we could go to the chat. I don't know if the chats had to have played a couple of them, right?
Yeah, well, we're definitely going to go to take this one to the chat. But my gut impression here, I'll just throw it out there, is to go with Shooty Fruity, because I've heard a lot more people talking about Shooty Fruity. I think it's a lot more popular title, and I think that, or in fact, I know that I've watched a lot more like streams and stuff. I don't think I've ever even watched anybody play Gravity Lab.
I've just the video we just watched. I'd have to agree with you. Because I mean, Shooty Fruity, man, you're shooting fruit. Like it looks like Spry Guy says it's pretty good for a wave shooter. It is a wave shooter, but how many times have we said that a lot of times you just want to shoot guns, and a game that's done well, that is entertaining and gives you that opportunity is definitely well worth playing. And if you could flip the guns, man, that sounds cool. I do want to try the other one as well, but I say Shooty Fruity would be my instinct.
All right, so let's take it to the chat, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and ask them here to kind of deal with the delay. Shooty or Gravity Lab. So you guys let me know. Quest game of the month. What do you think? Shooty Fruity or Gravity Lab? I think Shooty Fruity, Roots. But again, there may be people out there that have had hands on this stuff. So who knows, right?
So far, VR Spry Guy says wave shooter, Shooty Fruity is good. I haven't heard of the other anybody playing the other one. So
Risky Business says Shooty Fruity. I have a feeling that it's probably going to be unanimous, with the exception of Scion, who thinks the Echo VR should win a second month. Right?
We'll give Echo VR a honorable mention that means nothing because it already won.
Mepper says personally Gravity Lab because I like the puzzles over shooters. I haven't played either of them though, so he hasn't played either. He just likes puzzle games better than shooters.
I think they're both intriguing for me to play. I got to try Shooty Fruity this week, Wes. I think I might be talking about it on a future episode of how amazing.
Fairly certain that this one is in our library as well. If not, I think this might be an Infinity title actually.
Yeah, and you get to be in a checker at a grocery store at the same time, so it sounds cool.
No, the thing is, you have to wear it 2020 style and put your mask on.
Oh God!
As you're checking people out, and then like if people come up to the stand that aren't wearing their mask, no service, bro.
No, sorry, you got to shoot them in the face. Let's go up another step.
Right, played the Seattle version.
Yeah, the Seattle version, yeah, for sure.
Anyway, well, I guess we're gonna go with Shooty Fruity here. We had a tie in the chat here, so I'm gonna call it, and I say Shooty Fruity. I think it's a much more popular title, and I feel like the general public would probably agree with that.
Yep, me too.
So we had a very limited month for Oculus Quest, and an even more limited month for PSVR. What kind of month did PCVR have, Roots?
It was actually a pretty good one, and I was looking at the titles, a couple of those. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to choose. I know what you're probably going to choose, but I don't know what I'm going to choose, Wes, because there's some good stuff out there, right?
It's pretty tough this month, in all honesty, on PCBR. There's a lot of good stuff. There was enough stuff that we didn't even list to make up a good game of the month, competition, right?
Yeah, that's why I feel bad, because the PC, even when they have a shit month, they still have some stuff come out. There's just so much coming out, so many developers, right? And like, if anything, you get a Tornuffalo or something. You may not like it, but you got something.
So let's talk about a few of the other things. It's the stuff that's not on our list. What happened in PCVR during August? Well, we had a few releases. Again, these ones not part of the conversation. Of course, we have Anderson, which I didn't feel right putting it in there, being early access build very incomplete game. I didn't feel like it was ready for prime time. That one we will actually, when it goes full release, if it's as good as we think that it's going to be, we can put it in the game of the month conversation that month. We had the Shadow of Valhalla. If you remember, we talked about a couple of weeks ago, kind of a good game that tied you over until Undead Citadel gets here. Hack and slash medieval skeleton fighter. We had Hospitality VR, which actually turned out to be instead of a game, is more of an experience. Very short, 10 to 15 minute thing. $3. So not exactly what we had hoped it was going to be, but still supposedly pretty cool. We had Prisoner 518 come in to release Roots, and this is a game that we've had in our library, courtesy of the developer, for a long time. At the time we got it, was very early on, and we decided we would come back to it when it was a little further along. And come to find out, Roots, that day is today. I just learned that this thing released on Steam. So Prisoner 518, it's about time we go back into that one.
Yeah, well, good luck. You didn't get the memo, or maybe you didn't get the same. I got a notification. It said it was a couple days ago that said our access or my access to Prisoner 518 was removed.
That's probably why.
Yeah. So, but maybe we'll get another copy, because I'll tell you what, I did go in to it when we first got it, and it was like you said, it was just really, really early. So I don't even remember what it was about. But if I would want to see what the differences are, I guess, or the polish,
Yeah, absolutely. We also have Pangman. Pangman we talked about on the show the other day. The latest from Ivanovich Games. Another one, Roots, that I had no idea was coming.
Yeah, I didn't, and I still forgot about Pangman. I need to check that out. I mean, I like their other games, so it's different, right?
Yeah, plus multiplayer. You can get in there with up to 7 friends.
Yeah, it's such a weird name. I think of Pac-Man, like ping pong with Pac-Man or something. I don't know.
Right. We had a couple of games, Roots, that have been around in early access for a while, get huge updates and leave early access. Those being Gadgeteer, which again, one of the channel favorites, a Mamefan special. And then Carnage Chronicles got a big update and left early access. So 2 very good games there, Roots, with significant updates as they come into full release in August.
How come we didn't put Carnage Chronicles again on there? It's had so many releases, right? That's one of the, or as they've added to it. And you've said it before, and it's actually really smart for a lot of these devs. The way they do it is they get their the game name in the news like 5-6 different cycles, right? Instead of just one release, we're going to release it again, and then they're out there again. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they just have to be careful that they don't release too early. You don't want to give somebody something that's too broken or too short, because all it takes is a few bad reviews on Steam, and then after that, people won't even look at your game. They'll just see the thumb down and they'll just keep on going without even looking at it.
That's very true. Mepper wants to know if the new big game from Hello Games is VR. Going to have some VR support out of the gate. I don't know if you have any information on that. I don't.
I have absolutely no idea on that one, but I got to imagine that it probably won't at launch, but it will eventually, because that's just kind of their style, right?
Yeah. Yep.
We also got a couple of good free experiences / demos. We had Emergence, which I talked to you guys about a couple of weeks ago. That one free experience that puts you into a large crowd and allows you to watch unique flow dynamics as you move through it.
I need to try that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's only a few minutes long. It's worth your time. And then we have a free demo for Eye of the Temple, which is an Indiana Jones style temple raider. But the whole hook here is that it's room scale only. It's one of these games that, scans your room and builds the level to your room, and it constantly has you walking and turning and apparently it's very good at having you walk around, but never running into your wall.
Wow, is that the one that people were talking about in the Discord the other day? Oh, I didn't see.
Yeah, Mamefan is like he's very high on the Eye of the Temple demo.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, that was the big thing in 2016, right? It's room scale, room scale, room scale. Everybody thought that was going to be the thing. And it could be if you get the right software, and imagine you get the most intelligent AI and you mix it. Who knows what the hell will be spinning around in our room or something. I don't know. I tried one of them one time, but the key is going to be scanning your space. It needs to know exactly what your space is, and then it can build it around it instead of trying to build with dynamics, just with the size of your space. So
Yeah, this is kind of, VR Spry Guy says he played Eye of the Temple and it was very impressive. This is kind of the MO, and we're seeing it more and more. As more people try this demo, everybody's very impressed with it, Roots. And even though, room scale is not so much my thing, I don't have a lot of room, I may have to put it in wireless mode and take it into the next room and give it a shot, right?
yeah, well, you can just walk out there next to your yaw. Just gonna keep saying that, putting it out there until your wife lets you get it. Or maybe it'll drop in price.
Traveling Man 3775 says, "What about Population 1? Will it be out soon?" I would expect it, but we've been expecting it out soon for a while. The rumor has it that the reason why it's been further delayed is because they decided that they also wanted to launch it on Oculus Quest as well. So they're currently in testing and polishing phases of bringing Population 1 to the Oculus Quest. But again, they've been kind of at that for a while now. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if in 2 weeks at the Oculus Connect 7, or Facebook Connect 7 as it were, that we actually learn something about Population 1, maybe a date, maybe some kind of a new trailer. I think we're going to hear more about that title very, very soon.
Well, I'll tell you what, I had my doubts before, and there's a lot of people checking it out that have NDAs, and they didn't say specifics, but I have heard from a couple of different people that it's really good. So I'm more excited about it now than I was 6 months ago, just because I thought, man, this thing, I don't know what the hell's going on with it, but it'll be cool.
It's funny, man, that they're going to be coming. Literally, that game's going to launch at the end of the lifespan of Battle Royale, gaming. We're kind of coming to the end of it now, right?
We are.
The last leg of the Fortnite generation, and in a few years it's going to be over with. And when they started developing Population 1, it was a great idea, but now they're just kind of they're coming a little late with it, right?
Yeah, they got some weird stuff going on in Fortnite now, Wes. I just saw some like promos, and it was mixed with, I don't know, I can't even remember what it was, but at the time I saw it, I was like, what the hell? It's just so bizarre, man.
Yeah,
That's
they
when
keep adding stuff into it. They've added Marvel Universe characters
That's
into
what
it.
it was, yeah.
They're I think even during the Nvidia thing, they announced that there's going to be ray tracing in it in Fortnite now. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Fortnite with ray tracing.
I thought the coolest thing was when they had like the billboard of like the DNC or something. Some political thing was, or no, maybe it was just some political thing was up there, and people were like, what is this? This is not the venue for stuff like that. It was like a big TV screen or something. It's weird.
Hussein X says that he worries that the Medal of Honor multiplayer is going to kill the player base for some games, especially Frostpoint, which looks really good. I think that's a legitimate concern, but then again, is it a bad thing necessarily? If it's a better game than, say, like a Pavlov or a Contractors or an Onward, is that bad that it's taking all of those player bases and consolidating them into one bigger, better game? It just depends, right? It depends on how good it is, and I'm willing to bet that the Medal of Honor multiplayer is going to be the best of its kind in VR at the time that it launches.
Yeah, I agree.
He says he's also worried about Frostpoint. Well, uh, again, legitimate concern. But Frostpoint looks really good and it looks different. It looks significantly different than any of these games. So I feel like Frostpoint's one of those that's going to be judged on its merits. Hopefully, they market it correctly, and if it's good, people will know about it, and hopefully make their way into it.
Yeah, and by the time it comes out, we have all these new games like when Medal of Honor comes out, it's going to bring more people in. All the AAA games, more and more people will come in because of them, right? At the same time that we have all these new headsets dropping, video cards dropping, people that were like, I can't get into VR, man. I can't get a $1,200 video card. Well, dude, $400, man. $200 is what you're probably. I mean, it's going to
Well,
be ridiculous, dude. Like there's not going to be that entry point is not going to be as bad anymore. You're going to be able to build a computer for $500-600, right? 700.
yeah. Truth be told, you could already get a VR capable graphics card for $200 to $300. A 1660 Super 2060. You're not going to run on high, probably not even medium, but if you want to go to low settings, those cards will run VR. And they're $200 to $300 right now. So I got to imagine a year from now, where you're able to get a 2060 for $100. So yeah, we may see these multiplayer lobbies start to level out over time.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, that's going to bring us to our PCVR game of the month, and I picked out 4 here, Roots. The 3 of which I played, one of which I listed just because it's such a big title. But we've got a competition on our hands, and of course, we're going to start with Ginny and Thaco Trial by Spire from Dark Cat Studios. Roots, not the most popular genre, not my favorite genre, but my favorite game from the genre. And, a very polished, even though it's coming from, a smaller studio, a very polished experience that you would think from playing it came from a much larger studio.
Yeah, it was really good. I've enjoyed my time in there. Still want to go back and master all this magic. I want to beat the crap. I want to bitch slap that dwarf, man. I just saw one of the moves. It was like the dwarf was almost dead with one slam. That's not been my experience, Wes. That dwarf is at his way with me for far too long, and I need to reverse it. But the thing I like about this too is it's not just the game; it's the comedy, the acting, and then the bosses as well. Like a lot of these games, they don't the bosses aren't as intricate as these ones are. So yeah, it's a solid game for sure.
Yeah, solid game and just a good overall production here. A very, oftentimes we see these, these new studios who are new to VR come out with their first game, and when it first launches, it's lacking in a lot of areas. And from a technical perspective, there wasn't a whole lot of that here, was there? I mean, everything pretty much looked and sounded good and worked well right out of the gate, the way it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah, except for the moves, the magic moves, that were my fault because I wasn't doing them like them. You're crossing your arms like this, and you're supposed to do this. That's user error. So no, there weren't any issues except for my own issues. Everything was perfect. So
Yeah, very good game, Jenny and Thaco Trial by Aspire. And then we come to the game that I've probably spent the most time in out of any game this month, Roots, and that is Moose Life. And a lot of expectations coming into the release of Moose Life for me. And initially, it lived up to what I expected. I expected that this game would have a lot of stuff similar to Polybius to it, but a lot of differences as well, and that I would like it, but not quite as much as I like Polybius. In the days and weeks since then, as I've progressed to the deeper levels of the game, Roots, I've been pleasantly surprised that this game was even better than I expected it to be. This game is even more like Polybius than I thought, Roots, because when you get into some of these levels, there's a lot more Polybius stuff going on. There's gates, there's the high speed, there's the the trippy time manipulation, and just the overall sense of controlling something uncontrollable. It gets there, Roots. It just takes a lot longer to get there than it does in Polybius. It pretty much hits the fan right off the bat in Polybius, where you have to kind of build to it in Moose Life.
I kind of maybe I read it, and maybe I imagined that I read it, but I could have sworn you saying you thought you almost like this better than Polybius or as much, or am I putting words in your mouth? I know you said it was exactly what you just said, way better than you thought, that it was. After playing, you were like really impressed.
Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of what I said. But basically, after I got out of that session, I went straight to our Discord. By the way, invitation in the description to our Discord. I went straight to our Discord and just basically had to tell everybody, that there's a lot more Polybius style craziness in this game than I even thought,
No.
and it's a very similar experience in the later levels.
Yeah, so it invigorated your faith in Jeff Minter, right? Because you've been following him for a long time, right? And as far as Polybius and this game is just as good.
Yeah, Polybius, one of my favorite VR games, and now this is quickly becoming that as well.
Yeah, you spent a lot of time in there.
Probably the most time that I've spent in any game this month was in this game, and probably will be the most time I spend in any game over the next month will probably be this game as well. So,
I thought it was going to be the next game that we're talking about.
well, I mean, maybe after I get my next headset, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, the third title on our Game of the Month contenders list for PCVR in August, Project Cars 3 just was released by Slightly Mad Studios. Project Cars Roots, one of those titles that these hardware-based channels always go to when they want to show off the graphics, right? When they want to put the camera and give you a good through-the-lens shot. Project Cars 2 normally is always one of these titles that they go to. And it's easy to see why, right?
Yeah, is this one of those games that you can race pretty good with a controller? Because I don't know if you need a steering wheel or not. I know I've got access to this game. I'd like to try it just to see. I mean, people love the Project Car series, right? I mean, there's people out there that are fanatics. I know Alex loves the racing. I'd be interested to know from like Radio Runt or anybody that does this type of racing. Is Project Cars like the best, or as far as you like, or is it Assetto Corsa, or what's the top one out there right now?
Yeah, I generally, I think that I would like Dirt Rally more. It looks like the gameplay looks more compelling to me in Dirt Rally. It looks like it was a little bit crazier of an experience. But if you're the type that's in the straight simulation, I can see why this thing here would appeal to you because of all the different cars that they have and the photorealism of the graphics.
I'm gonna say it again. I say it every time we have a racer. I want cruising, USA, Need for Speed. I just want a campaign, man. Like when I see something like this, it's like, can I race a campaign, or can I race across the country, or do something different than go in a circle? Like
you want the crew. That's what you want.
Or the crew, or just something, man. Like I just want something in VR where I can race, and it's something better than, and maybe these ones, it looks like they've got canyon roads and that type of stuff. I'm just not big on to circle racing. It seems so boring. Like you're going in a circle, I don't know.
Yeah, anyway, a game that I haven't played, I just thought that, being the big title that it is, that it would be stupid for us not to list it on here and then ask, of course, those of you in the chat what you think at the end of the list here. So, a definite deserving candidate, Project Cars 3.
Yep.
That brings us to our fourth and final entrant for the month of August 2020 VR Game of the Month, PCVR. And it's a game we already talked about at the top of the show. Yupitergrad is one of the funnest to play games I've played in a very long time, Roots. And, there's not a whole lot to say about it down here that we didn't already say at the top of the show.
Yeah. No, it's a tough decision right there, right?
That makes it very tough because it's a very, it's an interesting month, Roots. Normally the games that we pick that end up winning are balanced games. They have a good collection of everything, right? It's that they have a great sound, they have great, visuals, they have great gameplay, they have great story, and this and that. But the main thing about the titles this month, or at least the three that I played, they're all very heavy on gameplay. It's like what makes them all as good as they are is what it feels like when you're playing them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing, actually.
I agree. Ray Pope says mixed reviews on Project Cars 3, 52 out of 512 positives.
Yeah, well, I know Jarillo's been pretty vocal about it on Discord about how he doesn't see where the third installment's an improvement over the second one. He thinks he'd rather just go back and keep playing the second one.
Okay. 52%. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Anyway, that's going to that's our four here. Ginny and Thaco, Moose Life, Project Cars 3, and Yupitergrad. And I'm going to go ahead and put it to the chat. What say you, chat?
I'll tell you what I say, and this is gonna sound weird because I've chased the dragon for several days to play more. I mean, I guess that's a testament as well. I've been trying every which way I could to get back to this game to play more Yupitergrad, and I really want to play it and I can't, and it's really driving me crazy because I enjoyed the time that I played. It felt so good, and everybody's raving about it, and Radio Runt saying it's reminds him of Portal and just the puzzles and the humor, and I mean that's gonna have to be my choice just because all around, even the short time I played, I just it's really good.
Yeah, I could certainly understand why you would pick that title. At the end of the day, though, for me, there's a reason why I haven't played more other games than I have this month, and that's because anytime I go through the trouble of putting on the headset, I always get subverted by Moose Life.
Okay.
And I just have so much fun playing that game that while I should be playing other stuff for the Monday show or what have you, I always end up putting it off to play more Moose Life. So
yeah,
that's my vote.
I figured that was going to be. So we got to have a deciding choice.
So I put it to the chat. What say you, chat? Game of the month for August PCVR. Yupitergrad or Moose Life? Again, Root says Yupitergrad. I say Moose Life. What say you?
Definitely either one of those is amazing. I would say out of those four, those are the two I would have picked for sure.
Yeah, and not to take anything away from Ginny and Thaco, again, a very polished game in its own right. It's just, again, even if it is the best tower defense game I've ever played, it is a tower defense game, and it's, I'm not a tower defense guy. So
right, yeah. If I was tower defense aficionado, it'd be my obvious pick for sure because it is the best tower defense game I've played, flat or VR. So
is my chat frozen here, Roots, or is nobody voting?
No, I don't think anybody voted. I think they say screw you. I don't care. He's not going to vote. He's not played either. See, that's the conundrum, right? It's okay, how do you vote if you've never played, right? Although we do it all the time.
I thought we had a few at least that bought Moose Life. I know a lot of people have been trying to play Yupitergrad.
Yeah, so I know there has to have been some people that bought it. I mean, I really enjoyed it. So
yeah. I don't know. What do we do then, man? If we don't have anybody present here that's played either of these. Oh, it looks like we've got a couple here. It looks like Traveling Man 3775 says he loves the graphics in Yupitergrad. Well, that's cool, right? I mean, like, I'm glad to see someone else appreciates that art style other than Roots and I here.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then
It's weird how
Hussein X backs you up as well. Yupitergrad says Hussein X. If he had to choose, that'd be the one he picked. So,
well, I know
I guess then Roots.
Radio
I'm
Run's
sorry,
been
go ahead.
raving about it. He's been raving like really hard about how good this game is. And he was like really psyched to watch me play it. And I failed. I didn't get to do it. But yeah.
Well, I'm going to go back in, and if I can peel myself off of Moose Life long enough, I'm going to do another stint. Maybe I'll put a video up with it.
Yeah.
Do a gameplay for the channel here. Been a little while since I did that, so.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And I think we should definitely put Moose Life as the honorable mention second runner up.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Because when it comes down to it at the end of the year, it's definitely going to be a contender for sure.
Yeah, because by that point, I will have talked all of these people into buying it. It's just $7. I mean, what the hell, guys? Why haven't you played this yet?
Dude, you've sold more copies of Polybius than just about it. Probably even the developer, probably.
I'm telling you that Moose Life has given me multiple jaw-dropping, literal wow moments than probably, any game since like Half-Life Alyx. I did a lot of wow in Half-Life Alyx. But since then, I mean, nothing's really made me wow quite so much as Moose Life. And again, it takes a little bit longer for it to progress than like Polybius did. But when you get there, man, it is fucking nuts. There's mushrooms and UFOs and all sorts of crazy shit, dude.
I feel dirty for voting Yupitergrad. The hell was I thinking?
Well, we will revisit this discussion in December or January, whenever I guess it'll be December when most of the conversation goes on for the 2020 show.
Yeah, it's coming quick, man. Damn, I can't believe how quick it's coming.
It's going to be here before you know it.
Yeah, can't wait.
Anyway, that's going to wrap up the Monday Show 52, folks. Those of you who are watching this as a rerun who did not make it live, be sure to let us know in the comments down below. What do you think should have been Game of the Month? Do you think it should have been Yupitergrad? Do you think it should have been Moose Life? Or do you think it should have been Project Cars or even something else? Maybe it's one of those games I listed at the top that we didn't even consider. Maybe it's Jenny and Thaco. Be sure to let us know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so that you can stay up with all of our content here on the Virtual Strangers channel. And those of you who would like to the conversation to continue, who can't quite get enough of talking VR, well, you don't have to stop, friends. All you have to do is scroll on down to the description below, and there you will find an invitation to our Discord, where most of the people, if not everyone who's in the chat right now, plus about 100 more, are always in there. And anytime anything happens in the world of VR, we all congregate and begin to talk about it. There's multiplayer games going off on a nearly daily basis. And to be quite honest, there's a lot of conversation going on in there that has absolutely nothing to do with VR. It's an absolutely wonderful community, and I invite you all to join it and join the conversation.
Absolutely.
Anyway, with that said, friends, I would like to thank you all once again for watching. And for Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you tomorrow, friends. Bye-bye.